Welcome to the Sweet and Condensed Podcast, a podcast by people who love movies, people, and the magic that lives where they meet. New Mexico Drew back on the pod, man. How you feeling?
Eric is rolling around the beaches of LA like he's Beyonce right now on some anniversary trip with Kelly. He can't stop me from being on the podcast, so I will not be silenced. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, absolutely. I was so stoked when the producers approved this, especially because I don't think they sent the memo to Eric or he didn't read it. So, but odds on both. I should probably plug my Mac in. But dude, okay. Speaking of Eric rolling on the hills of Wayho and Beverly, they were on the beach. I don't know if you saw that.
That's exactly what I just said. I just said he was rolling around on the beach like Beyonce.
My bad. That went in one ear and out my nose. What I was going to say, though, is that he was shaming Kelly about having shoes on the beach. Is that like not a thing?
I mean, it's a weird thing.
Is that a California thing, or do people in Florida do it?
There's no shoes on the beach in Florida. I think that's a New Mexican thing, man. I think that's that's giving you grew up in the desert around no water. That's what that's giving, Kelly Harris.
Interesting. Well, I'm kind of a enigma then, because
what?
I'm a New Mexican. I'm an enigma, an anomaly. I was on the beach. I was born in California, but I wear shoes on the beach.
All right. Yep. I think that's the Artesia. The Artesia roots run deep. That's probably why
they run deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like wearing shoes, and it doesn't make people very happy. I used to do this obnoxious thing where I let the waves wash on my shoes because everyone would always put their feet in that little boomerang when it was popular on Instagram. They let the water wash on their bare feet and wash back, and I always thought, like, you're just trying to show me you're on the beach and you're having a good time. I feel attacked, even though I know I'm not being attacked. So my way of revolting, maybe this is the foreness in me, was I'm gonna let the water wave onto my shoes, my Vans.
Oh, I hate that. I hate it so much.
So come November, dude, where it's gonna happen. You're gonna take me to the beach, and I'm gonna put my feet in that salty Atlantic abyss. So
I will happily let the Duval County Sheriff's Department just arrest your ass right on the spot, because you'll deserve it.
Wait, is this your first pod since moving to Florida?
Yeah, since moving here.
No, Sinners, you were in your office.
Oh, that's right. First one in my house. So being in my house in Jacksonville. So
heck yeah. Is it still beach season there? Like, can you roll on the beach right now, or is it too cold?
No, it's hot as hell. You could go to the beach. It was like 85 degrees today. I sweat. Once again, here we are on the podcast talking about me sweating it. And I did. I did today.
Is that just going to keep going?
Yeah, the sweat? Probably. Yeah.
The heat.
No,
the heat. When does it stop?
Probably like end of October, early November. It'll drop down to like the 70s and the 60s and stuff. We actually do get like a break from the insane heat and humidity. So that's nice.
Huh. That's wild, because I was wearing a hoodie the other day because it was 60.
Yeah. Can't wait.
But okay, so spooky season, dude. Has anything changed for y'all since? Is spooky season different on the Eastern Seaboard?
I mean, the vibes hit a little bit different when you don't have like the trees turning colors. You know what I mean? Like right now in Denver, Colorado, is probably peak. Orange leaves all over the ground. So that's a little bit different, but we're still keeping it real. We got our Halloween playlist that pretty much my kids demand to listen to the moment we're in any automobile. We've watched some of their favorites. We getting in the mood. I watched Bring Her Back. Woof. Rough, man. Rough. Big fan.
Glad to hear you and Bren are still on your bullshit.
Yeah, it was bad. It was very bad. I mean, a good movie, but just the experience was rough. So,
real briefly, what's the premise of this thing?
The premise is, so what's what's the actress name? She's the lovely little mom from Paddington, and she's also the fish humper from Shape of Water.
Laura Dern.
Is that really her name?
Oh, Sally Hawkins.
Yes. So Sally Hawkins, the fish humper,
that's insane.
is a foster mom, and she adopts. So there's a stepbrother and a stepsister. The stepsister's younger. She is blind. Her older brother is like 17, and their dad dies. That's how the movie starts. I don't think that's a spoiler. Their dad dies at the very beginning of the movie. They get fostered by fish humper lady, and fish humper lady lost a daughter who was also blind, the exact same age as the girl she just adopted, and things get really weird from there. So this is like very creepy psychological horror of fish humper lady, foster parent, trying to do weird stuff to the daughter, being super weird, and then it definitely gets into the supernatural, occult, a lot of body horror, like hard to stomach body horror. But that's what it's about. So it's about the brother and the sister and this creepy foster lady who is basically projecting her dead daughter on this new blind girl and all the weird stuff that ensues from there. And there's also this other kid who's just there, and he's the one you see in all the posters, like the bulgy, bloodshot eyes and stuff. He's there too. Big part of it, but kind of spoiler territory if you talk about why he's there.
Interesting. Oh, I'm not worried about spoilers for me, but maybe the listeners will be sad. I'm going to pretend like you're not disrespecting Shape of Water, and I'm going to move right past that.
I love that movie. Just weird that she humped a fish.
It's a metaphor. Alrighty. So the reason that you watching Bring Her Back, because spooky season is much different in this household than the Scrimshire household.
Ooh, okay.
Also, the Skorkas say what's up and hello. I forgot to tell you that earlier. And so Halloween Town, for example, that's a big movie here in this house for spooky season.
Okay.
I walked into the living room the other day. Hubie Halloween was playing, which I just connected the dots. June Squibb is blowing up. She's like 97, and she's like the star of Thelma and then Eleanor the Great.
Yeah.
And I didn't know when I watched it with you, that was her.
Yeah.
So,
dude, her shirt that says it's not going to suck itself and like boner donor. Her thrift shirts are the best in Hubie Halloween.
Boner donor is insane. I forgot about that bit. So yeah, we do, and I've never seen Halloween Town, so maybe I need to watch that because apparently that's a part of, it's the canon. Halloween pop culture.
It is. It's canon.
It's canon.
I mean,
there you go.
How are you born in the '90s and not seen it, bro?
That's what they said, but I was watching Sixth Sense and Hocus Pocus and Signs. That was a 2000s movie, but anyways, yeah. Halloween Town wasn't. I know I'm a fake '90s kid, I guess, but. The reason I'm bringing that up though is because I was on the phone with Eric and I was telling them that y'all were going to watch Bring Her Back, and I was trying to convince them to watch Bring Her Back, and then they were trying to convince me to watch Bring Her Back, and I said that's where the buck stops.
So you didn't do it,
apparently. So I didn't do it, did not watch it, but Eric bullied me into watching Get Out again. Well, it wasn't really bullying because I'm not opposed to it. I've seen it before, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Because Drew, you just watched it again, right?
I did just watch it again last weekend.
And
so I have to be fully transparent.
You lied to me.
I did. When this movie came out in 2017, right?
Yes.
I had a very young baby. His name was Rhett. His name is Rhett, but when he was a baby, his name was Rhett too. And a brand new baby. Her name was Eloise. It still is Eloise. So I did not go to the theaters to watch this. But the moment, and this was like maybe the very first time I ever rented a movie on Apple. I remember being in our bed. So we were in Albuquerque. My wife and I were in bed, and we put Rhett to sleep. And I was like, hey, I need to watch this movie. Like, everyone's talked about this movie. It's Jordan Peele, super weird because he's a funny guy and he does Obama jokes, but he made this horror movie and everyone says it's the best thing in the world. And we've seen the meme everywhere of the guy, of Daniel Kaluuya's eyes. And she's like, let's watch it. And so I remember we had this little bed because we like co-slept with Eloise when she was like a newborn, like weeks old. And it was in between us. and we had my work laptop, and we downloaded Get Out because you literally had to download it still. And like there was little Eloise, you know, in the middle, and we watched Get Out on my computer. So I think it was probably a few months after the theatrical release, but that was our very first watch, was in our bedroom on a little computer screen.
Hell yeah.
But it was amazing. But we loved it. So that was my theatrical watch.
I love how Brenna's always down. That's such a quality trait, man.
Yep. She's down.
Okay, here we go. So that's what we're going to talk about this episode. We are doing a whole spoilers. We're calling it spoilers, but I mean, it's been out for 8 years. But if you haven't seen it, we're going to ruin it all. So keep listening and see what you're missing out on. So we watched it. We're going to talk both about our initial watch and our second watch that we rewatched it probably within days of each other. And this might have been the first scary movie I watched of spooky season. So to kick off spooky season, I think we got a banger. Alrighty, so first off, we're just gonna, let's see, Letterboxd says, just because you're invited doesn't mean you're welcome. Chris and his girlfriend Rose go upstate to visit her parents for the weekend. At first, Chris reads the family's overly accommodating behavior as nervous attempts to deal with their daughter's interracial relationship, but as the weekend progresses, a series of increasingly disturbing discoveries lead him to a truth that he never could have imagined. This is written and directed, like Drew had said, by Jordan Peele, who at the time was only doing funny things. And so I agree. This drew me in pretty instantly that he was doing this horror genre thriller. But like you mentioned, even the trailers, it was like there's still the humor coming out of it. So I was very intrigued, despite at the time I was watching way less horror stuff in theaters. And this is starring Daniel Kaluuya, Allison Williams, Catherine Keener, Bradley Whitford, Caleb Landry Jones, and a whole spew of other people, Lakeith Stanfield, Marcus Henderson, and a bunch of others. Alrighty, dude, okay, so before, we were both pretty hyped. We were both stoked to watch this movie when it first came out in 2017. What drew you to like going into it this time?
Yeah. I think it's that classic problem of, so on my Letterboxd, it is listed as one of my favorite movies of all time. So it's pretty rare that I watch a movie one time and it has such an impact on me that I'm like, oh, that will be one of my favorite movies of all time. But I just remember how original it was and how much fun it was, like literally from start to finish. It is just such an entertaining movie for different reasons, right? Like you said, the humor, the suspense, all the cringiness of it. And for a long time, you couldn't stream it. So there was that, right? So for a long time, you could stream Us everywhere. Like,
right.
And I don't know if Nope is available right now, but I've wanted to rewatch Nope for a really long time, and it's not available for streaming anywhere. And I should just break down and buy it. But so I avoided watching it or I didn't watch it for a long time because it wasn't available. And there were a couple times where I had opportunities and I had that friction of like, well, do you rewatch something that you know you love, or do you take this rare opportunity when you have 2 hours to watch something new? And I think I've always, like not always, but typically I've chosen to watch something new. And when I saw that it was on HBO Max, I was just like, we can't not, I was just like, because it was one of those things where I actually wanted to watch Bring Her Back. But I was like, I can't go into that just like I need a primer. Like I need to warm myself up to spooky season. Like let us get in the right mindset. Like you can't just go into it, Bring Her Back cold, I needed to warm up. I needed something familiar. I needed to kind of ease into it. So I was like, hey, let's watch Get Out. And once again, Brenna was just like, done and doneer. Let's do it. Put it on now. So yeah, we watched it. And it was just one of those things where it was like, yeah, we haven't seen it in years. It's spooky season. It was the perfect vibe because it's an easy one to watch, right? Like it feels like a spooky movie, but honestly, you could watch this bad boy on April 13th or on, January 1st. Like it's a great movie no matter when. So yeah, that's why.
Dude, freaking that I was inspired to watch this because of what I saw it come up on yours, and also because all summer, so we've talked about it. We had an intern, Fintern, and dude, the Fintern's one of his favorite films is Get Out. He says it's one of the closest movies to perfection that he's watched, and so it was on my mind. But I remember watching it in theaters, And so I looked up my previous ratings. I guess I backdated it because I don't think I had Letterboxd in 2017. Dude, I gave it 4 stars. And I was like, what is this? I mean, that's not bad.
Not bad.
But is that Get Out? You know, did I watch it?
Yeah.
And so my first time in theaters, it was I was on staff with Young Life at the time, and a Young Life kid wanted to watch it, and that's what got me to go watch this thing. And then I was like, wait, should I be watching this movie with a high school student? And so that was I think probably on my mind too the whole time. But going into this one, I was like really excited, but also not as excited as I was coming out of it. Like I totally forgot just how, again, it just used Fintern's words. It feels like a perfect movie, perfect length, perfectly casted, perfectly directed. Like it was, and I picked up on things that I didn't know before. But I watched it by myself. I had the house to myself this past weekend, which was dope. And, you know, it was a nice little aperitivo, if you will, into spooky season. Although I don't know if I'll get much scarier. I don't know what's on the docket. I'm not going to watch Bring Her Back.
Dude, you got to go watch Black Phone too.
No, I don't. Nope. The producer said Eric's going to go see that one.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Eric is like, I was looking because that son of a bitch. I think there's like 2 great concerts in Albuquerque next Thursday when Black Phone comes out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I was wondering about that. I feel like he'll bail on us and go to those shows. Drain is going to be in Albuquerque on October 16th.
He doesn't know Drain.
He doesn't know. Yeah, he's not a real fan.
He's not a real fan.
Shirt, but he's a poser though, and he's not here to defend himself. So let the record show, Eric is a poser. But okay,
dude. No, he's got to go see Black Phone 2 because I haven't even seen Black Phone 1, and I don't know if is it good.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I want to watch it because this is actually really funny. This is a tangent, but I'm gonna have a hot take here. I don't know when it changed. But up until very, very recently, I was a giant Ethan Hawke hater. Big, just couldn't stand the dude. Anything he was in, I was like, I don't want to watch it. Just because I didn't like Ethan Hawke. I know.
What?
It's a hot take. Even hearing those words come out of my mouth, it feels hot.
I'm baffled. Wait, is there like a origin to this?
I don't know. No, I don't. I just remember constantly being annoyed by him.
You got mad he shot Denzel Washington in the ass after one of the greatest speeches ever? That's why?
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. I actually did. That's what's so funny. It's like looking back when I was a kid, I didn't even realize that was him.
Love the movie, but
yeah, it was just like, it was all Denzel. But yeah, but then I realized like, what a lovable guy. What a great guy. Great. And then just like looking at all of his films, I'm just like, oh wow, he's really good. He's so good. And he's just like a lovable weird dad now. So I like him.
It's a great tangent, dude, because he comes up on like Reels or TikToks every now and then with interviews, and he always says some really rad shit. Like one specifically about how he says all directors and writers should take acting classes, and he goes into this whole depth about why being an actor informs directing and informs this and the art of it. And he feels like he's in this industry because it's passion and art, not necessarily because of, you know, fame and all the other stuff. And maybe that's what makes him a lovable dad. I don't know. But, cause there's a lot of greats out there, but I don't know how their, you know, lovableness and their lovable dadness is, you know, I don't think they match Ethan Hawke.
Right.
But that's amazing, dude. I can't believe that is a thing and you said it publicly. But to return back to get out.
To get out of this hot water.
To get out of this hot water, dude. That is wild. I don't even know where we got off on that freeway. I don't even know.
We're talking about horror movies. It's not going to get any scarier
Black
for you.
Phone.
Black Phone 2. He's in Black Phone.
That's right.
He's the bad guy.
And also,
which is cool.
I have a get me out of jail free card. Y'all made me go watch Tron Ares. Although I say that with a lot of heat and anger right now. I'm excited to watch it. I was rewatching Tron Legacy. That's kind of fun, dude. I mean,
I love Tron Legacy. I love the original Tron. I love Tron Legacy. I will come out, and I don't think this is a hot take at all. I think Jared Leto blows.
Everyone hates Jared Leto. It's very in vogue right now to hate Jared Leto.
Yeah. Put me on the bandwagon. You know what I mean? I'm right there with everybody. I'm riding the bandwagon. And you sent me a clip of them driving because I was talking shit about how bad the CGI looks, and point taken. That does look beautiful, and from what I've read, it is like this beautiful spectacle. But it's when it's him. It's anytime they show him, because I guess it's like he comes to the real world, and I'm like, this looks so stupid. You look like you're walking in front of a blue or a green screen, and it's just so obvious to me. And plus, outside of like Dallas Buyers Club and Fight Club and the other clubs that he's in, the Heroin Requiem for a Dream Club, I just don't think he's a very good actor. So
that's fine. That's fair. I get it. He's honestly maybe the best, not the best, but a pretty solid choice for this though, because he did Dance with the Devil and hasn't aged in like 50 years. So him playing an AI villain, kind of fitting. That being said, I get a jail free card because of this, because Eric bailed on it. So maybe, he's on his 10th anniversary vacation. So one, that almost qualifies him for getting fired. Two, so Get Out is kicking off a good scary season. And it might be the peak spooky season for me. So, all right. So wait, let's just jump into it then. Again, spoilers are going to roll out here. Just what was like, we're talking about Jordan Peele was being a big draw of this. What about Jordan Peele made this movie just that, like, this was his, like, he's the only person who could have made this movie. He's the best person to make this movie. What are your thoughts about Jordan Peele and this relationship with horror genre?
What made it appealing to me?
Oh my gosh. You are a dad.
That was good. Yeah, I mean, I think so. One, it makes sense in hindsight, right? That he would make such a great movie, because I think, I am not a comedian, but what I've heard from the great comics is that like timing is everything, right? And I think comics have a very unique way of understanding people around them, right? It's what makes them funny. When they say like the Robin Williams, the Jim Carreys, like the, you know what I mean, the Amy Poehler's, whatever, like when they say things and do things, it's because they notice these little intricacies and they are able to pick up on those. And a lot of it has to do with timing, setup, reaction, and that actually lends itself really well to the horror film. I don't remember where I read it, but someone, or maybe it's a very common thing, that basically says like comedy and horror are almost the exact same, right? Like you kind of like can change the music, and like comedies can become horror films because of like the setup and the tension and then the payoff, right? It's like the same formula in comedy and horror. And so, yeah, I'd only known Jordan Peele from Key and Peele skits, and obviously he's freaking hilarious. And so the fact that he was low-key this horror nerd and made, a horror suspense film kind of under the radar. I mean, I don't think I was as plugged in as I am now, you know what I mean, to like the film, the film TikTok world, but I think it was pretty under the radar. And then when he released it, it was pretty incredible. But yeah, like just you can tell the dude is a true student of the genre and like really gave a shit about how it looked and how it felt, from the cinematography, the editing, the acting was pretty phenomenal, like just the subtle things, like Daniel Kaluuya's character, just like his subtle little reactions to the absolute unhinged behavior of those white people throughout, like, the movie was pretty great. That was one thing on the second watch that like I appreciated far more, was Daniel. Just his subtlety, his acting, and like his subtle little like, like he would just kind of like quirk his head and then maybe smile a little bit. And I'm like, man, like that is just, like he's serving up so much by doing so little. But yeah, I just think that it was, Jordan Peele was very uniquely qualified to do this. And I think for his first three movies, that kind of shows that like this dude is, playing on another level as far as making horror films.
Yeah, you bring up a great point about timing. I didn't really think about that. And because I do agree with you too, that I love comedics and comedy folks who that cross genres. They jump ship. Adam McKay is one of the first ones that come to my mind when he did all the Anchormans and Talladega Nights. But then him doing The Big Short blew me away. But I think a lot of it, like you're saying, is just their understanding of, the people, their environment, people in the room, timing. Like I didn't really think about it in this for this movie, and it makes so much sense. And I think his directing too, of like you're saying with Daniel Kaluuya, I think it was just amazing that obviously his understanding of what it's like to be a black man in America and experience these things, like, because the directing with the microaggressions, you're right, they were like, Daniel didn't need to say anything, like it's all about the reaction. So I think that's a combination of both, right, Daniel and Jordan Peele, but like their understanding of when to say something, when not to say something, and it really showed that, I don't know, just that embodiment of moving a person who is other, moving through a space that is dominated by a different group of people, and that just made it more immersive. And this second time watching, I think, I don't even know if my brain was developed in 2017. So I think having somewhat of an adult brain, a different understanding of the world, I think that played so much, and just appreciating Jordan Peele's direction and take on this. I mean, even the script's like so tight. I feel like I wouldn't change anything. I don't think I would make it longer. Like it doesn't make me want less or more, which I think oftentimes I'm like, oh, I want a movie to leave me wanting more than it just dragging on. Like, don't get me wrong, right. I don't want a movie to drag, but I think that this movie ended where it needed to, where I was just so satisfied with this second watch. Yeah, it was just the look, the feel, like everything that played into it, even the sound. I felt like the sound design, I don't think I appreciated the use of sound the first time, like the muting when he falls into the sunken place the first time, or even the tea glass spoon thingy. Yeah. Like just the sounds were just, I started getting like freaked out anytime I hear glass clatter, like porcelain hit metal and shit when I warm up my tea now. But yeah, and I don't know, was the score stand out to you? I can't.
Yeah, it did. I remember. Okay, so I didn't remember it from the first time staying with me too much, but the moment the opening credits hit the screen and you heard that like the shrill kind of like string noise, I was like, oh my God, like my brain immediately recognized like, oh yeah, I remember this. It was like a signature. And I felt like it was perfect, I think he did a lot of that like shrill kind of, string instrument stuff, which was kind of like old school Hitchcock, you know what I mean, without overdoing it. And I thought it was so good. The one thing, just to really quick go back to the acting though, that I forgot, and I'm like, how in the hell did I forget, was how hilarious Milton, so I'm looking up his name, Milton Howry Jr., Milton Lil Rel Howry Jr. was his TSA buddy, his best friend. That guy, I mean, and that was just Jordan Peele like letting his comedy writing cook, and then that guy just delivering, because he was so funny with his whole like, they're kidnapping black folks and they're turning them into sex slaves. Like these white people are kidnapping black people and turning them into freaky little sex slaves. And like, it's just so funny because he, like, the whole time he's spot on. Like he's just calling things as they really are, but they sound so outlandish that people just write him off. And like, that's the genius of it. You're like, oh my God, he is so sure of himself. He is so confident. He's so right. But in this moment, he may as well be a raving lunatic because no one believes him. And that, to me, like that tension, again, just made it was literally like Jordan Peele was like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we just spoiled the whole movie, right? We just told people exactly what was going on. And it sounds so stupid that like, it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be absurd. And then his delivery of it was just incredible. So that was also something on the second watch I just thought was amazing.
Oh yeah, dude. But dude, okay, wait, I did want to say something though about what Jordan Peele has done for the genre, or like what's really cool about it, because I was listening to a Sinners podcast between the DGA, as the DGA after a screening, and it was Ryan Coogler, and oh gosh, this is horrible. It's his first director of photography that did his first films like Fruitvale Station and Black Panther.
Isn't it a gal? Isn't it? Like
she just did her first feature too. What the heck is it? I'm gonna look it up because it's gonna kick my butt. Black Panther. But So anyways, they're having a conversation about, is it Rachel Morrison? Rachel Morrison, yes. The Fire Inside. That's the movie she just did. And it was her first feature. Okay. Yeah, this is the right person. And they're discussing this movie, and they asked Ryan Coogler about like what was the birth of this movie, and he was saying that he just felt like he wanted to do something out that was like for him and personal, because everything else was in worlds that they would have found a director to make these Marvel movies, or they would have found someone to do the Creed movies. And he had mentioned, he's like, I don't think anyone expected a horror film out of me, but that's a genre I really like love and I respect. So I wanted to make a horror film. And I just think, like, I'm not saying that Jordan Peele is the reason why he made Sinners, like in that sense of crossing genres, but I just think that is really cool to see that he did do that. He made this film, this scary film, this horror film that was recognized by not just the like critics and the Academy and all the award ceremonies, but also by the audience. And then Ryan Coogler has done this, I think, the same thing with Sinners. I mean, Sinners might be the most beautiful movie I've seen this year. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's some other ones that are really great cinematography, but anyways, I just think that is really cool to see some of the impact, I guess, of Jordan Peele, or at least I feel like I'm connecting to it.
I mean, I agree with you. And I mean, I think to speak plainly, and I mean, there's no way for me to prove this, but I would have a conversation with almost anybody about it. To think that Jordan Peele didn't pave the way for Ryan Coogler would probably be pretty naive, right? The fact that, like, you know, when it comes to these decisions of these big, because that's right, we're talking about, I mean, the first one, Get Out, I was reminded it was like a Blumhouse thing. But when you get to Warner Brothers, who did Sinners, right? Those are run, call it what it is, those are run by old white dudes. And I think, like, had Jordan Peele not had 3 really commercially successful horror films before, like having this young black director come up and say, hey, I know I'm supposed to be making this one movie, but I really want to go do this other one. Like, I do think people trusted him, and he does credit people for like giving him a chance and saying, basically, Ryan, you can make whatever movie you want to make. But to think that, like, you know, Jordan Peele probably didn't have some effect, that they probably didn't weigh that like, hey, there's an audience that this could be commercially viable to let this young black man, you know what I mean, who's never made a horror movie before, like, someone else has already done it and they were really, really successful. So I do think that, you know what I mean? So I don't know how much it personally affected Ryan Coogler. Like, if he like was inspired by Jordan Peele, I imagine he'd seen his films, you know what I mean, to some extent. I can't speak to that, but as far as in some sense, you know what I mean, Jordan Peele being a trailblazer for him to be able to do that, I think is, you know what I mean? I feel like you have to kind of acknowledge that he did something there. So, because I do think that it was, and Blumhouse is not like, they are a huge horror film producer, but they're not really considered, you know, a Warner Brothers, a Universal, a Paramount, right? They're not these huge, like, they're kind of known to take risks on even B horror films. So the fact that that's where Jordan Peele had to go to get his first horror film made and then became commercially viable and successful, I think, you know, is kind of him being a trailblazer. So,
right. And even I just thinking about like film, the Academy's been around since like the 20s or something, and Jordan Peele, the first in like 100 years, he's the first black person to win for best original script. And just, I was reminded of that when you were saying, like, to trust this young dude, this young director, this young black director to make a film. And not only that, also the fact that they allowed him to make that deal where he can retain rights after like 25 years or something. Like, that's some of those deals you don't really hear about, or like you see exist in big studios, like out of the big 5 or whatever there are now. It feels like there's a bunch now, but Warner Brothers definitely being like one of the bigger ones to agree to that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just so cool to see outside, to reflect back, watching this movie now in 2025, reflect back on the last 8 years and to see some shifts and changes, because dude, this film is so good. Like, Get Out is so good, and Jordan Peele making these, and a lot of people say Nope is his masterpiece, which I think I was at first like, no, Get Out is his masterpiece. And then Us was great, and then Nope was great, but it was more of a blockbuster like summer monster movie. But now I'm like, well, I need to rewatch that because I feel way better about watching Get Out on the second watch. So to your point of needing a rewatch, which I think it was streaming for a little bit, like on Peacock or something, but I don't know where it lives or where it went now. But dude, okay, so what is there like a specific scene that when we think about Get Out, it's like this is the scene that made this movie, or the pinnacle of this movie that this weighed on. Because I feel like there's so many things in this, and it's kind of I don't know, even as I'm asking it, kind of I feel like a hard question to ask in the sense that I think that this screenplay is so well written that it's so layered that every scene kind of leads up. Because I didn't pick up on like half the shit, dude. Like even the first time I watched it, dude, I didn't know Lakeith Stanfield's character was the guy who gets kidnapped at the beginning. That's how ridiculous that things were going over to my head. Or the deer. I was like, okay, the deer got hit by a car. That was spooky, but I didn't understand. At least the first watch, I don't remember understanding that. And now having the rewatch, connecting it to the story about his mother. So anyways, my point is that there's so many things that I think the scenes are very important, but what's the standout? Hey, what's the glue to this whole thing that this scene, it made it work for you, you loved it, and also you think it's very important to the whole movie?
Ooh, that's good. I almost feel like maybe those are two different ones. I mean,
okay,
it's hard. I mean, I feel like maybe the quintessential scene, right? That's almost like you can't. It's the the Alfred Hitchcock shower scene, the ring with the knife, like that's the memorable one. Is when the mom first hypnotizes him and he goes into the sunken place, right? Like when she's getting him to talk about his mom and the day his mom died, and you see his eyes just turning so unnaturally bloodshot. That's a crazy thing because Daniel Kaluuya has those big, expressive eyes to begin with. So for Jordan Peele to cue in on that and really just have him use his eyes, and when he cries, you're just like, that's like an insane amount of tears that are coming out of your eyeballs right now. You know what I mean? And how I don't know, it felt like the acting was phenomenal in that moment because he's kind of like, oh shit, I understand what's happening and I don't like it and I'm not comfortable. And you're making me share the most traumatic thing that maybe you kind of get the sense, I got the sense maybe he's never talked about, right? This woman is extracting things out of him that he's literally maybe never talked about, before, about his dead mom. And then literally watching him sink down right into that thing. So I think that's maybe the most memorable, scene. That was definitely something that I didn't forget. But I kind of thought a particularly so a couple of things, and maybe I don't want to steal any of yours if you have them, but one of the most burned in my brain ones was when he goes outside on the first night to have a cigarette in the backyard and it's dark, and he looks and the big dude is just full steam ahead running right at him, and then does that little juke at the end, who we find out is the grandpa. That is just what a weird, I feel like that is just you can tell someone's handwriting by the way that they write, and the little strokes, that's just the little Jordan Peele, you know what I mean? That is so weird, so bizarre, so chilling, and just interesting, that's very Jordan Peele. But I think a scene that really kind of just messed with me, and on the second watch I was just really bothered by in a good way, was after he's going through the party, right? That there's this big gathering where basically literally people are coming to watch him and observe him and figure out how much they want to bid on him. And he's all those that you're talking about, microaggressions, but just literally people being look how strong you are, look how cool you are, whatever. And he goes to escape it all. And then there's that blind guy, the dude who lands up actually buying him, the freaking dude from Dodgeball.
I was thinking of Office Space. Isn't that him?
Also from Stapler,
the Stapler
L's
guy
for Love. Yeah, I mean, and then he's just a blind, horrible person, and how it was pretty insane how he kind of comforts him, and he's just like, oh yeah, don't listen to those people. You know what I mean? They're so ignorant, and he, talks about how, he knows his work even though he's blind. He talks about how unfair it is, and it's pretty messed up because he basically says it's oh, sight's been wasted. You know what I mean? He implies that sight's wasted on all these people who can't appreciate it. But what he's literally saying is sight is wasted on you. Like, I'm so envious that you have this eye. Like, why I'm such a great appreciator of art and I don't have it, and life's so unfair. And it wasn't this, it seems like this moment of beautiful, like, hey, let's share this moment together. And you're like, oh, this is crossing boundaries. They're crossing race. Like, this is an old white dude and a young black man can finally relate on something. But it's pretty sick and twisted when this guy literally buys him so he could kill him and put his conscience inside of him, because he was literally saying, like, oh, this is so messed up. Like, he's like shaking his fist at the sky that this dude can see and he can't, and that it's a waste. And you know what I mean? So
Damn.
that whole thing I thought was just like, ugh, like, just kind of, you know what I mean? Talking about the layers, and when you replay it in your head, you're just like, that was great. That was pretty great.
Yeah. No, dude, I agree. I mean, I feel like that for me, that the bingo, the actual bingo where they're not talking and they're putting up their, what do they call them? Paddles? I don't know. The silent auction type thing. Like, not speaking and just like the silence in it, the eeriness to it, the way they shot it. Like, I feel like for me, that's like the second, not like how you said, I feel like they're two different questions. I feel like that's the second one. So it's right after your scene, right? Because I do think it plays into like the big idea of this movie. I think there's, you know, the aspect of like, we want the culture, but we don't want the person. We don't want the individuals of this. And we see this throughout, you know, we see this in America. And I think that scene showing that of them with where does power or where does dominance take place, and you see these old white people with money and connections and status and all this shit, and yet they're still like, oh, I need something else. And I like the way you phrase it, because I hadn't thought of it that way. They're like, we're buying people because it's wasted. Like, it's wasted, and it makes me feel disgusting to be a part of the human race, to even like indulge in that idea. But I think that's what like this movie does such a great job of, like, doing this, portraying this big idea of what Jordan Peele's trying to get at. Or at least I think he's trying to get at, right? Of that idea of like, oh yeah, we want your culture. We want to use, we want to abuse, we want to own. And that scene to me is just, I think, the one that like pivots and makes that movie. Because I think that also kind of cemented that homeboy TSA is fucking right. And that's when I was, because I think I knew he was right the whole time, because I mean, that's where the movie's going. But when he's, you know, get out. And then I was like, at that point, I think that cements in the story. It's like, oh shit. But the memorable scene is the same thing. I think because too, that scene where he first gets hypnotized, because the whole movie, you're watching it in a very realistic kind of world until that scene. Then it becomes this surreal and this like different way of shooting everything, right? He's free floating, he's falling, but he's not falling at like falling speed. And I think that just that bizarre transition from the way we're interacting with this world, for me, made it, of course, the most memorable. But okay, so obviously this movie doesn't work without the performances, and you already talked about like Daniel Kaluuya being like just the highlight, because I think this is like his role. Like, this was I'm trying to think. He's great in everything. This might be my favorite role. Also, I liked him in Widows. I don't know if you've seen Widows. I don't think that was talked about enough, but
no,
he also plays this gang leader's like a lieutenant to a kingpin, who's Brian Tyree Henry, who I love. And he plays a menacing character and does it so well. But was there anyone else that stood out?
Yeah, I mean, the dad is a creep. That guy's so good. He's also in Cabin in the Woods. What's that guy's name? The dad, the ginger dad, the glasses.
Cabin in the Woods. I haven't seen that in forever.
He's one of the scientists for the American team. You know what I mean? Like the two guys who are like, oh, Japan just lost. You know what I mean? Like those guys. He's one of them.
Oh.
And he kind of does that shtick. He kind of like almost like that's like very much his thing, is just kind of being an ass, pompous ass. And I feel like he does that really, really well.
Bradley Whitford.
There you go. I mean, the mom is fine. I think the crazy ass girlfriend, like the seductress girlfriend, you know what I mean? Whatever her name is, that actress she does a phenomenal job. Like she plays that to the T. Like I mean, just gaslighting the shit out of her boyfriend, being like, "What? What are you talking about? Like, why would I mention you're black? Like, no, I've never dated another black." You know what I mean? You're just like, "Oh my God!" Like, just a lunatic. And then how at the end, when she thinks he's going through the surgery, it's all been revealed. She's just sitting there with a bottle of milk and dry cereal with her hair pulled back. It was like a Patrick Bateman American Psycho. You know what I mean? You're just like, what a freaking lunatic. I thought that was really cool, and I think she did really, really well just doing that. But I mean, yeah, there wasn't a bad performance. I didn't like the brother. I don't think that was because it was a bad performance. It could just be because I don't like the dude's face. And just his nasty hair. And like, I don't know. I know you're not supposed to like him. I know that's the point, but I'm just like, ugh. Like maybe he did a great job. Maybe he just did so well. That's why I can't stand him. But he just bugged. But everybody was freaking amazing, you know. The acting. Oh, who is it? What's her name? Who turns out to be the grandma? But the one,
Betty Gabriel, Georgina.
Yeah, Georgina. When she's standing there and she's smiling and she's like, "I'm okay," and she's like, "No, no, 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 no," and like just tears rolling down. I'm like, that was some pretty phenomenal acting too. You know how like it made it believable. Like there's someone trapped in there, right? Like there's someone in the sunken place and they can see on this little screen what's happening in front of them, but they can't do anything about it. And there's like this weird break where they're kind of like getting through a little bit and they're not supposed to be though. So yeah, to be able to portray that kind of acting just through your face and through your voice, I'm just like, that's cool as hell. They did a really great job.
Which I think that look or that performance that Jordan Peele pulls out of people, like even in Us, like there's always this very similar, like he just pulls out these performances like that, and they're always these tight shots that are just, they're incredible for like the storytelling. It connects like to the genre. It's just pulling together. I think these little micro threads. I think in a lot of Jordan Peele storytelling, which I think he does like in a beautiful way. But dude, Catherine Keener, the mom, I can't lie. Every time I saw her on there, all I was thinking about was 40-Year-Old Virgin. And so it's kind of like, Toni Collette, dude. Like she's Hereditary. Like I used to watch, Little Miss Sunshine and I was fine. Now I watch Little Miss Sunshine. Yep. I still love the movie, but I'm like, all I can see is that fucking monologue where she's yelling at her son over dinner. But yeah, no, they were really great. But contrary to you, I actually like Caleb Landry Jones, the brother. And it's probably because of the reasons you said that he's probably doing well. Because he's the things that I've seen him in are like these like side roles. Because I'm gonna bring up a movie you detest that I love, the 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, and he's in it as Red, and he just he just plays these side characters that are just, I think, they do powerful things in the moments that they're on screen, and they do what they need to do. They don't take up too much time, because like even his character in Red, in 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, I think was just small town, really great, innocent, gets his shit kicked out of him, and I just feel for him. And almost the exact opposite in this movie, where I like fucking hate him, and that's probably he does a good creepy white guy who kidnaps people. So
he does, yeah. He plays into it well, and I think you're right. I think he probably he understood the assignment, which is probably why I just freaking hate him. So,
but dude, okay, so now that we've watched it a couple times, well, 2 times exactly. Do you think this has a high like rewatchability factor?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Especially because I watched Bring Her Back the night after, and not rewatch. I'll never watch it again. Like I have no reason to rewatch Bring Her Back. And it's like experienced it, checked the box. You know what I mean? Happy for the Ozzy brothers who made it, but like never watch it again. Get Out. I'm like, yeah, you could rewatch that, and it'd be fun. For sure. I think it's got a high rewatchability. What about you?
It's almost like I'm kicking myself. Like I don't understand why I haven't rewatched it in 8 years. That's like how I think it's aged so well. I think it'll be enjoyable 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And yeah, I think it's definitely not one of those movies where I'm like, oh yeah, Talk to Me was that movie for me, which is what'd you call them? Aussie Brothers? Oh, Aussie Brothers. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I can't.
They're from Australia.
Yes.
The Popoplio brothers. I'm sorry, I'm butchering their name, but but they're from Australia.
And they're YouTubers? Right?
They were. That's what they started with.
Comedy?
Yeah, they've literally, I don't know what they did on YouTube. I never watched it. I just know that someone was just like, hey, you can do YouTube. Why don't you make this movie? And they made Talk to Me. So,
dude, there's like only one segment I would want to rewatch out of Talk to Me, and it's the montage scene with is it a song or is it the score? Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, the freaking needle drop, the songs that he puts, opening up with Redbone by Childish and Get Out.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so good, dude. But yeah, dude, high rewatchability. Like, I think this, I'm disappointed in myself.
Wait, can we call out, okay, almost perfect movie, former pretend photographer to sometimes forced to be photographer, one guy to another. Can we talk about what makes this not a perfect movie? This motherfucker is supposed to be a New York professional fine art photographer, and motherfucker's walking around with a goddamn kit lens on his camera. No fucking way. No L series glass. I mean, they had the Canon shot in there, right? So they weren't trying to hide the fact that this was a Canon because they got that product placement. And they're not going to even put L glass. Like, what Canon rep was like, yeah, put that junk with the gold ring. What is that? Like, put the kit lens on there. I'm like, no, man, your Canon rep wasn't like, motherfucker, give me that red stripe around there. Put some L series glass on that Canon, because there's no way this motherfucker's walking around with a full frame camera and a kit lens. Come on, dude. Come on. So that is my knock. That is why Jordan Peele will get a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 4.99999 star on Letterboxd because of the kit lens.
Dude, that's completely fair. Also, because is there a perfect movie? To push back to what I said earlier about it being a perfect movie. So yeah, that's so funny you said that. I didn't want to like be like, oh, shit on it because it's in the sense of what is it? Like, oh, it's the artist, not the tools kind of thing. But I'm sitting here, dude, with my and I am a pretentious when it comes to these things, dude. I don't spend money on anything. But when it comes to my tech, dude, you're right, dude. There's no way. If I was a photographer in New York, there's no way, dude, that I wouldn't be having at least an L lens on my camera. And I'm not even like a professional, like on that editorial studio, whatever side. Like, I'm still rocking the Canon EOS R, which is like the base model, whatever, mirrorless lens series. But dude, the first thing I got was like, I'm body and then buy an L lens. I didn't even mess with the whole kit lens stuff.
Nope.
But maybe, pay devil's advocate here, maybe it's because he's like, hey, I don't want to take the good glass out to this weekend. Maybe there was a part of him deep down. He's like, hey, I don't want to take my good shit and get quality photos of this weekend with a bunch of white people at this weird party.
Bro, then take a little 35 millimeter film camera, Just lean in, and if you're gonna take shitty photos, take some shitty photos and make it intentional.
You're right, dude.
Not believable.
You're right.
I don't know how they got past that. Come on, Jordan. Thought you were on our tour. Like,
and was he wearing like the kit strap, camera strap?
1,000%.
And
1,000%.
I don't know. Again, I don't know if people do this, but one of the first things I always did was never touch that. I don't know if that's a pretentious thing, but I always bought some sort of other camera strap. That could just be me though, not professionalism. But
no, I know what you mean.
All right, let's pick some more imperfections now. Is there anything else in this movie that you feel like was not perfect?
No, that was like the one thing. That's just me being silly, but it did distract me every single time. Like, especially in the scene when he was just like walking around, he's like, zoom in, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh man. And they show you the photos that he took allegedly. I'm like, bro, come on. That was the one thing. But no, it is. Goddamn. What an incredible movie. For sure belongs in like the conversation of just like greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
For sure. Regardless of genre. He's up there and needs to be in that conversation.
Do you have any other final thoughts before we close out here? Maybe, your Shape of Water fish humper Because this is the year it won. Should Get Out have
2017?
Yeah. Should Get Out have won?
Oh, 1,000%
Over
that.
Best Shape of Water?
Yeah, because talking about hot takes, Michael Shannon bugs the shit out of me, man. Great actor. But that dude, and especially because of how horrible he is in The Shape of Water, I hated it so much. Great movie. But yeah, the sweet little innocent mom in Paddington and the horrible foster parent in Bring Her Back humps a fish, and you see way more of her butt than you want to see in that scene, and it should not have won. Shouldn't have won.
That's a definitely a different hill for a different conversation for me to die on, because I do love Shape of Water. Not saying that it shouldn't have won or should have won. I'm just saying I would like to put up a little bit of fight, but we're not here for that. But dude, that was a tough year, man. That was like so Shape of Water won, but Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread. Don't want to name the post, but I'm going to. No offense, Steven Spielberg. And then Dunkirk, Darkest Hour, and Call Me by Your Name. So you got a lot of hitters in there. It was a tough year, but I don't know. I think Get Out, yes. Like, I think it was at least, definitely, obviously, it was in the conversation. I think back in the day when they did 5, it would be in there, but
yeah.
So, anyways, I don't have any other thoughts.
Me neither.
Well, right on. Hey, thank you everybody for listening to an episode of Sweet and Condensed Spoilers, where we talked about Get Out. As always, like, subscribe, give us some good ratings, 5s or 1s. We only extremes. And subscribe to our newsletter. Every Friday we launch out, and then you get your episodes and the occasional essay sent directly to your mailbox. Give us your money on Patreon. And till then, keep watching movies, see you at the theaters, and tune in for the next episode.